rotate my phone. You can't turn your phone on while recording. Okay. Oops. Sorry, I can't see behind me. Right, good morning. Extinction Rebellion coming to you live from Kaurna country, Adelaide, and we are here today to acknowledge the federal government's 100 days in Parliament 2020. We are here on Kaurna country. I'd like to acknowledge the custodians of the land, the Kaurna people. We are on stolen land, never ceded. Right, today we're here because it is 100 days since the Albanese Labor government has been in power in this country of ours. We are outside of the Federal Labor Party headquarters, South Australia branch. And here we go, the Australian Labor. And we have a very brave Extinction Rebellion conscientious protector glued onto the door. So a little bit disruptive, a little bit cheeky for a Monday morning, people trying to get to work, although it's very quiet around here. So why are we here? Very simple message. End fossil fuels now. And importantly, no coal, no oil, no gas. Even more importantly, no new coal, oil or gas, and fossil fuels. So, what's been going on? Yes, it has been a great step forward for Australia to have the Albanese Labor government elected to power. And a reminder, it was just not Labor that was elected at this great election. There are plenty of other independents with green issues, with climate issues front and foremost of their election campaign. So we want action, we need action now. It's all well and good for declared climate emergencies. Great, yes, something we already know has been acknowledged. It's all well and good to declare a climate reduction, CO2 reduction target. Great, but 43% is nowhere near enough and nowhere near fast enough. And considering that just last week the Labor government, the Minister for Resources, announced vast new exploration rights for oil and gas off Australia, which is utterly ludicrous and contrary to claiming reductions. We have our wonderful drummers to keep us going. Some of you might have seen us out on the streets in Rundle Mall on Saturday, making a stand, literally a stand on top of an awning in Rundle Mall, glued on. And this is the start of a campaign that Extinction Rebellion South Australia has launched now. End fossil fuels now. Honeymoon's over, people keep saying, and a survey was completed recently, and a lot of people, almost half the people surveyed, were very, very clear that 43% reduction is a floor, not a ceiling, and it is flawed. It's a flaw. It's a start, but it needs much more. I might actually go to our glued on person Hi, Kathy. Let me just get my little mic here. I'm all tied up. Hold on. Might be a bit of a noise problem as I... Oops. Sorry if that made a great big bang. Untangling my mic. And on to Kathy. Kathy, what's it all about?
It's a lovely morning. So that's the first point about we're here outside the Labour Party headquarters because we're very concerned that although Labour has come out with new legislation with about 43% carbon reduction targets, just last week they announced the opening of 10 new oil and gas drilling projects in the seas of Western Australia and Northern Territory with a massive number of square kilometres allowed for permits for oil and gas drilling. This means that they're not taking the international advice seriously. They either do not understand it or they're willfully ignoring it. Adding to that, we've got the Woodside project on the Barrow Peninsula, we've got the Beetaloo Basin in the Northern Territory, we've got the Tiwi Islanders complaining rightly about their gas and oil projects in the Barossa Basin in the sea. The list goes on of all the projects that will just create a carbon bomb in emissions and render that 43% target absolutely unattainable. And that's just for Australia. All of those projects will contribute to the global emissions. There are no barriers. Again and again, we hear people say, oh, in Australia, we can't reduce emissions until the rest of the world stops producing carbon. We have to lead. We're wealthy, we're privileged. We produce a lot of carbon-based emissions. We can afford to do it. So let's just get on with it as fast as we can.
Excellent, thanks Kathy. Well, very brave. Kathy is glued on. She's actually glued to the window in the doorway of the Australian Labor Party here in Gilles Street in Adelaide, South Australian branch. And very clear, literal message: stop new coal on gas projects. It is time to reverse the decision that was made last week for the exploration rights. Let's just not do it. Let's stop. And as Kathy said, there is far too much said here in Australia about, well, we're doing very well. We're very good at recycling and doing all our bit and cutting back this, that and the other. But we're exporting tons and tons and tons of coal and gas to be burnt elsewhere. It's a global problem. It is not something that we can shut our eyes to and say, well, we're fine here in Australia. And so this is our campaign banner for the campaign Extinction Rebellion South Australia. End fossil fuels now. Pretty clear. And stop new oil and gas. We acknowledge that there is plenty of oil and gas still being dug up. Let's stop any new ones. Let's spend all that energy, spend all that money, spend all those resources on looking at solutions. This week there is the much lauded Jobs Summit going to be happening, especially, you know, coming out of the pandemic. Passing a tree. Especially coming out of the pandemic, there's been a big hit to jobs in Australia, South Australia, the world. Things are different. Things need to happen differently. So let's have a look at some transition jobs. Let's have a look at green jobs. Let's have a look at getting out of fossil fuels. Let's do something for the people, the communities that depend on coal mining. Let's give them hope for the future. The big oil energy production companies, they know coal's going out. They're getting out of coal themselves. So let's be ahead of the game. We've had 40 years to think about this and still got nowhere. Green jobs, transitions. We've got our nascent, our growing, creating a samba band here with found objects. Literally got some stones. Not sure what time they start work in this office. Probably snuck in through a back door, but a little bit. Peaceful street. Some empty office next door. Look. Like have a talk. Okay. And we have our magnificent chalkers. We've got end fossil fuels now. Effing just do it. Now we're going to have some words coming from our spokes today. Getting up a good rhythm there with the beginnings of a samba outfit. Here we go. Stop signal for the drumming.
Good. Oh, this is working great. Good morning, everyone. My name is Chris Johnson. I'm from
Margaret.
Extinction Rebellion South Australia's media and messaging team, and I'm here to give a brief speech about why we're here today. But before I do that, I'd like to acknowledge the First Peoples on the land in which we meet, the Kaurna people. We offer our respect to elders past and present. As we face the climate and ecological crisis, we honour first custodians, activists for land, water, culture and life. Country has never been ceded. We are here today because our government is failing us at both a state and a federal level. They are failing to protect us from the harms of the climate and ecological crisis and take action that is commensurate with this unfolding emergency. It has been 100 days since the federal election. 100 days since the Australian public sent a clear message. We want serious climate action now. It is said that the first 100 days are a critical period in which the government sets their agenda. What we see from the Albanese government is business as usual. Insufficient climate targets, new fossil fuel projects, and a failing to curtail the fossil fuel industry that is leading us off a cliff. As a journalist, Sophie McNeill recently pointed out just days ago, Anthony Albanese told us that the climate wars are over. Penny Wong spoke about how Australia is now a serious player on climate. Meanwhile, just last week, the Minister for Resources, Madeleine King, announced 10 new ocean sites for oil and gas exploration, covering nearly 47,000 square kilometres of ocean, all the while singing the praises of carbon capture and storage, a failed technology that the fossil fuel industry continues to shield to continue polluting longer than necessary. This is not just a climate emergency, but an emergency for biodiversity. Scientists estimate that every day 150 species of plant, insects, bird, and mammals become extinct. The recent State of the Environment report painted a stark picture. Environmental degradation is now considered a threat to humanity, which could bring about societal collapses. with long-lasting and severe consequences. The report was clear. Our environment is deteriorating. Every ecosystem is threatened by climate breakdown. The breakdown of the environment is not just impacting human health, but also our mental health and well-being. Roughly a month after releasing this report, the Environment Minister, Tanya Plibersek, gave the nod to a fertiliser plant in Western Australia, one that will source gas from Woodside's controversial Scarborough Gas Project. Again, business as usual. The decision to not block the construction of this plant has left traditional owners devastated, with the fears the plant will destroy the world's oldest and largest collection of rock art. Shameful. This is all on the backdrop of a measly 43% emissions target by 2030. Yes, it's a floor and not a ceiling, but it's also a clear indication that the Labor Party is not prepared to set targets in line with the scientific reality. A sign that they are prepared to let the world burn to appease the fossil fuel industry.
Sorry.
The Earth is already too hot. We must both commit to net zero and a massive drawdown of CO2. It's imperative that we reach net zero at an emergency speed, not 2050. It's just far too late. A commitment to net zero is effectively a commitment to end fossil fuels. We cannot offset our way out of this problem. By ending fossil fuels, we would be ending the dangerous fossil fuel industry. That means no more government, no more political donations, no more oil and gas conferences, no more greenwashing, and no more social consent. The fossil fuel industry will not willingly end itself. It goes against every part of its capitalist being. The power of this industry must be challenged. That challenge must come from the government. It's the only body capable of shutting down the fossil fuel industry in the little time that we have left. And we must force our government to do this. We have voted, we have held huge rallies and demanded change. Now is the time for mass participation in civil disobedience. This October, Extinction Rebellion South Australia will be blockading the Asia Pacific Oil and Gas Conference, a conference that the state Labor government is allowing to go ahead, despite declaring a climate emergency. We, and in that I include the media, need to be asking Peter Malinauskas and Susan Close why a government that declared a climate emergency is a major partner for an oil and gas conference. This October will be giving the government a choice. Which side are they on? Are they on the side of non-violent protesters who do not want an oil and gas conference in South Australia? Or are they on the side of the fossil fuel industry? If you care about a safe, habitable planet, then join us, because it's clear that the Labor Party simply do not care. They are happy to make us pay for the greed of the fossil fuel industry. People will lose homes. Many of which will be uninsurable. Food prices will increase as crops cannot grow in an unstable climate. Millions will have health impacts, be that through bushfire smoke or watching the natural world break down. Meanwhile, the fossil fuel industry will continue to pillage this country, refuse to pay taxes, and make a killing at our expense. And the Labor Party simply does not care. We are not going away. Our fabulous rebel here, Kathy, is literally making that point by gluing herself to Labor headquarters. Those that demanded more from our government are not going away. We have a moral obligation to take effective action. Mass participation in civil disobedience is our last and best chance to avoid climate collapse. Join us, and let's get on with it. Thank you.
Good morning. We're coming up for round 2 of our actions this morning. Apologies for those watching earlier. A little bit of technical glitch, so you will have a stiff neck looking at the video sideways on, and I think we've got it sorted out now. So welcome to Kaurna country. We are on unceded land of the Kaurna people here in Adelaide City, CBD fringe, southwest corner at the Australian Labor Party office. So front office of the Australian Labor Party, and we are here because our current government, the Albanese Labor government, has been in power now for 100 days. So I can actually now read people watching. Hi Susan. And on the first video stream we had a couple of speeches about why we are here. Long story short, we're here because we think it is essential, and we all know, end fossil fuels now. The Albanese Labor government was elected on a climate ticket, acknowledging that we're in a climate crisis and that apparently the climate wars are over. Interesting. There is also a large number of independent MPs voted to the federal parliament, and they mostly all had the climate crisis and climate action forefront of their campaigns. So what's been going on? The government has announced proudly a carbon reduction target, 43%. By, I don't know, 2030, could be 2050, could be 2090. But 43% is ridiculously low. It is not strong enough, it is not fast enough to avoid the catastrophes that the world is already facing. It is not just an Australia problem, it's a global problem. Yes, in lots of ways Australia has done some good things, but we are still exporting an awful lot of coal to other countries to burn. That's not our problem, that is our problem that we're creating. We need to stop new coal, oil, gas projects. So with our 43% target set, how are we going to reach that? We're certainly not going to reach it by our Resources Minister last week announcing that there are 10 new exploration sites off Western and Northern Australia. Licenses up for grabs, lots and lots of money to be made by some people, digging up the environment for oil, gas. It is just not on. It is just ridiculous. Fossil fuels cost the earth. So, clear. A few more messages. Wonderful chalkers. 43% is a flawed floor.
Yeah, you keep
a survey was released last week, at the weekend, I think. Large number of people who 48% of them agreed that 43% should be a floor. It should, the bottom, the minimum that we should reach. So a lot of work needs to be done. Getting a little busier along here. We've been here since 8 o'clock this morning. What time is it now? I've been here half an hour. People going to school, and Kathy making a little point, making it a little hard for Monday morning work here at the Australian Labor Party. Kathy is glued on in front of the front door. So, I was coming to see another banner and it's moved. We have started a campaign, Extinction Rebellion South Australia, and let's show you this lovely banner around the corner. Now put up for the traffic, and we'll get a good, I must be very careful not to go into the road. Oops. End fossil fuels now.
End fossil fuels now.
So it's the South Australia Extinction Rebellion campaign, which will be going on right through the rest of this year and into late next year, to end fossil fuels now. And EFFN, EFFN. A few more, a little bit busier. I think this is all school traffic. A couple of schools around here, primary schools, high school. Extinction Rebellion is here. And for the benefit of the people who've just joined us on this site, I'll see if Kathy can give us a few more words again. Kathy. Kathy, are you able to give us a few more words? This is a second live stream because the first one I got wrong way up. So here we go.
Hello, it's lovely to be here on this lovely morning with people going to work, and we're here representing Extinction Rebellion outside the headquarters of the Australian Labor Party. Why are we here? It's celebrating 100 days of the Albanese Labor Movement, which got in with a fantastic mandate from the Australian people, who as a majority want stronger climate action, and we're right behind that. We've been hoping and demonstrating and acting in all ways that we can to persuade people. Many of us participated in the election, handing out leaflets, asking people to vote the way they wanted to bring back strong climate action. And some of the things that have happened, there's some movement. 43% target for reduced emissions. But what do we hear last week? The Labor Government Resources Minister, Madeleine King, has released nearly 50,000 square kilometres of ocean for oil and gas exploration, including 10 major wells. And still, the main projects that are waiting there and starting to produce oil, gas and coal line is Burrup Peninsula Gas Project in Western Australia are still going ahead. We would have hoped that the Labor Party would put its money where its mouth is and shut those projects down. These projects, now 124 of them, will just completely obliterate the 43% target. There is no point in that target. It is just gone. We cannot possibly meet it. Already there's legal action. So one of the federal court judges has gone up to the TV Islands to talk with the TV Islanders about the Barossa field that is being opened up for exploration without their permission. And all of that is playing out. But the Labor government is missing in action. They cannot honestly claim that they are telling the truth to the Australian public. They're saying things like the climate wars are over. Well, we don't think there were ever any climate wars. We were not at war. If anything, the fossil fuel industry is at war with the Australian public and with the people of the world. It's them that they're killing and suffering. Look at the floods in Uganda now, the floods in Pakistan, the floods in New Zealand, and fires in the USA. It's all happening. Climate change is here. We have to work so fast to turn it around. And if you don't understand that, you don't understand how urgent it is. So all you have to do is find some information that are not sold out to the media press. You will see the information that you need to know. It's all there. If you think we're going okay, then you're living in dream world. And so is the Labor government. Either they're in dream world or they're in the play of the fossil fuel industry. We can only conclude those two things. And to be honest, so that's what we're here in front of the Labor Party headquarters, celebrating those 100 days and putting it to the Labor government.
Excellent, thanks Kathy. And just so there's no mistake, here we go. Kathy is glued on for her granddaughter. Thank you, brave Kathy. So, we have some media here, which is great.
And believe me, we are
Channel 9 coming in for an interview with Kathy.
Thanks for taking the call. See you.
So essentially, you have shown protests on Saturday. Today, you're not going to stop until you see action. Is that right? And can you tell me how many more people are you expecting here today?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not part of that organisation.
And a message for those listening.
It's okay, you can walk on it, it's fine.
Using colours.
Thank you. You can walk on it, it's fine. Morning. Good morning. That's probably
and write to your MPs, talk to your friends and relatives. Don't think that it's not going to go away. This is serious. The next thing that you'll probably experience is food shortages. Go back and think about COVID when people fall in the supermarkets. Hello? Imagine when you can't get bread. Don't imagine that you can't get your favourite brand of biscuit. Imagine when you can't get bread, meat and vegetables. Just, it's a fighting for it. And it makes people think that they can afford to buy food. And the thing to do is understand it and take it seriously. So we say to the government, you're in control, you pick up the and tell the butcher that is all done. There is tell
Kathy, how confident are you today that the actions that you are doing here is going to make change?
as I said, scientific research shows that 3.5% changes in evidence that happen in the Philippines, last minute, there are other scenarios, but that change happened. But it takes citizens all over the world at all levels, and all of our students are also engaged in many other types of activities. People are busy doing things like planting trees, writing for the MPs. You don't just have this, but you want to do this. Because we're citizens of the world and we spend for other people to take action in that way. And we sometimes say, yes, we respect the elections. Whatever we can do, peacefully, non-violently, caringly, put around that. But we're at the far end of taking firm action. And we will continue to do that.
Thanks so much for your time, Kathy. Kathy, could I ask you your last name?
Please, yes, my name is Kathy. My surname is CEO.
And Kathy is C-A-T-H-Y?
Chris is taking
Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Good on you, Kathy.
Well, there we just had Channel 9. I think it looks like Channel 7 is queuing up here as well. Hopefully some of that will actually get on the mainstream media. Stop new oil and gas, simple. The other thing to point out is that this week there is a jobs summit. The Labour government has initiated a jobs summit to look at how we can sort out current and future employment problems that are going on in Australia. This is, yes, a great result of the pandemic, but something that must be addressed is, what about all these fossil fuel jobs? What we are calling for, we don't want to see people out of work, we don't want to see people unemployed, families destroyed, communities destroyed because they're no longer digging up coal. We want a planned, clear transition for, just rushing to give a leaflet out to somebody there. We want a clear plan for the transition from fossil fuel industries to green industries, alternatives to digging up oil and gas. Find other jobs, retraining. The money that is being subsidised by government into the fossil fuel industry could amply provide... Oh, little dog standoff happening here. Have to stop the dogs. Yeah, that's your dog video for the day. We need that to lift the spirit. A really happy puppy there. Really wants to play. Anyway, back to more serious matters after our happy dog video. We want a clear plan for just transition for all workers in the fossil fuel industry. What is going to happen to the infrastructure? What about the remediation when coal plants are shut down? Many of the industries using coal to produce energy already know the writing's on the wall and are getting out of that method. The government is lagging behind. They're just dragging their feet hoping that maybe industry might do the job. We want a clear plan for jobs, green jobs, transitional jobs. Put that in the summit. Is that in there? I don't know. It would be fantastic if it is. What we do know is that next, coming up in October, the oil and gas engineers are having a big conference in Adelaide, and we plan to make it a little bit difficult for them to have their conference. There is a call out for people to come help blockade the conference in October, which is being held at Adelaide Convention Centre. We are way past talking about how to cope in a net zero world, still with oil and gas being dug up, and interesting items on the agenda at that conference. There is a lot of talk about carbon capture. It is still being touted as the saviour of the fossil fuel industry, that they can just bury carbon underground. It has been proven to be rubbish. It doesn't work. It's an expensive furphy. Stop trying to pretend that carbon capture is going to be the wonderful solution so the fossil fuel industry can carry on willy-nilly making shed loads of money and just thinking they can bury the CO2. It's not going to work. Stop it. Come up with a better idea. Better idea, just stop it. Effing end fossil fuels now. Enough is enough. Quite a few passers-by, which is great. People taking information. And that's what this is all about, to heighten people's attention to the problem that 43% net carbon CO2 emissions is just ridiculous when you're then, it's too low anyway, but then you're going to open up all these new exploration sites. Who's making that money? Where's the benefit of those sites going to go? Certainly not in the pockets of the people currently unemployed. Whoops. Channel 9 cameraman dicing with death there. Well, I suspect that our local constabulary is probably quite happy just letting us there. Maybe everybody's at the job summit and there's nobody in the office, don't know. Probably got a rear entrance, so they're probably happy for us to be here for as long as we like. And I suspect We have not had any show from the police. Interesting, we do have a Canberra registered car, hybrid, that's something, outside the Labor Party office. So I suspect that that's related to what's going on inside. A lot of fun going on here. A Monday morning little dance and a jog along. Let's see if anybody else, see if I can get any other takers to have a chat. Sarah, you're usually up for a chat. Now, Sarah is maybe recognised if you watched Saturday's escapades. She might have been communing with a bit of glue and glass, but I'm saying nothing. Hi Sarah, why are you here? Why are you doing this again?
Again and again, saying that we've got to get the message through around the very poor performance of Labor government. It feels like business as usual, continuing approving coal, gas, oil, subsidised food subsidies to the fossil fuel industry. It's the same old story, and I think it's so disappointing that people are, I guess, oh, it's okay now, 50%. Oh, we've got the Labor government in. But in fact, we have made no progress in terms of climate action, and we've just got to keep getting the message out.
Thank you, and that's why we're here, to keep getting the message out. Yes, it was a huge sense of relief, I think, across the nation after this election results came in. But really, it is not enough. All right. Oh, there we have. That's always nice when we have some passers-by with young children saying, well done, guys. So, you know, there's hope. We are hopeful. We are here. We're cheerful. We're hoping things can happen. It is not utterly too late. Somebody has spotted Mai. Meme was another one up on the canopy on Saturday.
We are not going to stop until they actually end the use of fossil fuels. That is our message.
I did that once more because I was repositioning, but I like the anger.
Oh, take two for the anger.
We are going to keep protesting until the government ends the use of the fossil fuels and stop being in the pockets of the fossil fuel industry, which is what's happening now.
Well, there was Meme. The lovely Meme was on top of the glass awning in Rundle Mall on Saturday. Take a look at our video capture of that if you haven't already seen it. Stuck on the top. Oh, and here we have
Aye.
Well, look, I've been commanded to ask. So I will ask.
Here's how
Yeah.
it goes. The thing, it's
Can I
quite clear.
get you around this way just so
Yeah,
the light's
sure.
better on your
Yeah.
wonderful face?
It's
Thank you,
quite
Harold.
It's quite clear that the government is actually being fraudulent. 43% of domestic emissions amounts to about 5% of all the stuff that we're exporting. It's like,
Yeah.
what the? A very small amount for a huge cost. It's unbelievable. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, who's going to pay for the extreme weather refuges that we have to set up?
Yeah.
And that we are having to set up, and we will have to set up because we'll get 30 and 40 extreme weather days per year in this country. Look at poor old Pakistan right now. Who's
Yeah.
going to pay for their reparations?
Yeah.
It's all climate change. And guess who's running away with the money on it? The big fossil fuel barons. This is a nonsense.
Yeah.
It's just think. Get thinking.
Yes, absolutely. Get thinking. It's not that hard to think. And, you know, it's a very good point. The people who are making the money, sure, there are some mums and dads investors and super, if they've still got super in coal, blah, blah, blah. But the people who are making the real money, what on earth, here's a question, what on earth are they going to do with that money amidst global disaster? I suppose they can afford to buy some shelters, they can afford to buy the food before everybody else, but really it's not sustainable. There are certainly lots of reports about crop failures across Europe because of the heat. Pakistan, 1,000 plus deaths, and the crops. Well, there will be no crops, they'll be washed away. There's going to be food shortages, food disaster in Pakistan. We have, you know, people are jumping up and down at a $10 lettuce, for goodness sake, eat some, you know. That's nothing. At least you could get a lettuce if you needed it. But it's global. We've been lulled into a bit of a false sense of security. Our last couple of summers have been pretty mild. Last summer we only had one 40-degree day here in Adelaide, in the city metro. We're going to have another cool Nina season, but we will have heat coming back. I think somebody's late for school. Oops. Keep running. So here we have our local constabulary. Morning shift must have started now, and they've got the fun job of having a chat with Kathy. Hi Dharma.
Hi.
I saw your wonderful work on Saturday with your flag waving. Think you found your role there. And I love your t-shirt.
It wasn't planned.
Resist. End fossil fuels.
Yes. End fossil fuels now.
Absolutely. Like to say a few words for the camera.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a really important day. It marks 100 days, as hopefully most people will realise since this new federal Labor government came into power, into office. And it's very, very clear they have no intention whatsoever of ending fossil fuels. In fact, on the contrary, they have approved, I cannot believe it, they have approved new coal, oil and gas projects across the breadth of this country, even beyond its shores. And we, the citizens of this country, have to do whatever we can to wake them up. There is no more time. So this campaign that XRSA is launching on the weekend, Action and Today, for the 100 days of this government in office is End Fossil Fuels Now. End fossil fuels now. Effing end fossil fuels now.
Thank you, Dharma. Clear message. Get on it. End fossil fuels now. I think the police are having a little chat with our two lovely police liaison members down there. It's a pretty straightforward.
Fossil fuels now. End fossil fuels now. End fossil fuels now. End fossil fuels
welcome to, got one person watching. Megan, hi. You're our lone watcher at the moment, but I know a lot of people catch up with these videos afterwards. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. When they go online. So, and we're here outside Federal Labor Party headquarters in Adelaide, South Australia, with a message. You've had 100 days in government. You might have declared a climate emergency. You might have thought you've done something good by 43% carbon reduction, which is, on a global sense, ludicrous. And Harold, anybody caught Harold speaking, saying that's about 5% of the carbon dioxide that we export. Hi, Robin. So we have some negotiations going on now. The police liaison talking with Kathy, who is glued on, and the police liaison will relay information between the police officers and our conscientious protector, glued on to the Labour Party headquarters here on Monday morning. So we have a very, very organised system where we have trained police liaison Extinction Rebellion members who will liaise between the police and the people doing the demonstration, conscientious protector. We are practicing civil disobedience here. It is our right to protest, and we are protesting safely. Maybe it's sometimes a little bit noisy, but we don't cause damage at all. And we're here to make a point. We're here to raise the profile of the problems with this Labour government. 2:50, far too late. Out to Royal Park Salvage there. Thank you for the support.
End fossil fuels now! 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 Good morning. Thank you. So lovely traveling.
It's always nice to see on a passerby comes back to have a good in-depth chat, takes information. So I'm not sure what's happening, whether the police are going to just leave Kathy there. Sometimes that is a tactic. So just a quick update, Kathy. What are the police up to? Are they just going to let you stay there as long as you like? Or they haven't said if they're going to try and remove you yet? No, they're just playing a slow game today. We're not disrupting anybody, we're not disrupting anything. It's a very symbolic action. I suspect everybody's at the Jobs Summit.
That would be nice if you're fixing one problem.
Yes, let's hope green jobs are in the discussion as well. Transition.
Green jobs already had. And what I'd rather see is these fossil fuel companies subsidising the transition because they've caused a lot of problems.
Yeah.
It would be wonderful if all those coal mining communities could be supporting the transition to something better, more profitable and healthier. And I think those communities are ready for it.
I think they are too. Many of them certainly are. Thanks, Kathy. I'm going to have to cough. Oh, hope you didn't get too much of that on camera. We have the police over the road there. They've come prepared to take people away, but at the moment they're just down the street. They're just biding their time. They're not doing anything in a hurry. As I said, I'm not sure how many people or if anybody is in that office. And there is no doubt a back entrance, so they could all be coming and going easily. Now moving the banners. Now the big truck's gone, we can put our fossil fuel costs there to capture a little bit of commuter traffic, school traffic. As I said earlier, there's a couple of schools in this road, at the end of the road, close by. So a lot of school traffic. These look like a lot of one or two people in a car commuting to work. Wouldn't it be nice if we had some sensible action to promote electric vehicles? Wouldn't it be nice if we could all get an affordable EV for those situations where sometimes we just have to drive, sometimes a bike won't do, sometimes that's okay, Dama. Sometimes public transport is just not an option. We certainly have to use a car at times, but let's make them electric. Let's have positive action from the government. Welcome to the people that we have here, the live stream. No big actions right now from the police doing any ungluing or anything yet. Fossil fuels cost the earth, they certainly do. As certainly the east coast of Australia knows, the horrendous flooding, persistent flooding, repeated flooding, and still people are just living in temporary accommodation, if they're lucky. It's horrendous. People in Pakistan, as we are here now, are in an absolutely devastating situation. Over 1,000 people so far have lost their lives, and the impacts on their greater families would just be immense. Rivers are drying up in Europe. Navigable rivers, I believe in Germany, are no longer able to have boats going down them, barges transporting goods. Just recently saw some pictures from China about massive waterways dried up. So just because you haven't seen something in the news doesn't mean it's not happening. So dig a little deeper, find out what's going on. Energy's still high here. Channel News cameraman still here.
we're doing the wrong thing.
And end fossil fuels now. So, Kathy has been there glued on for over an hour now. I think I will sign off for a bit until we get some action. Okay. Going to sign off now. This is part 2. We'll come back for part 3 if we get to arrestable stages. Kathy is there as we call conscientious protector. She says she's willing to be arrested for her message. So keep an eye on the live streams. We'll be back for part 3. Over and out from Extinction Rebellion, South Australia, on stolen Kaurna land. Hello, back for take 3. We are in Adelaide, stolen Kaurna country. Kathy has been glued on to the offices of the Federal Labor Party. So the police have come. Police have been here for quite a while, and staff force have been called in to unglue Kathy from the window. Things.
So it'll just be a slow process, alright? Big on the edges and slowly walk.
So we have to have specialist police from Staff Force to use specialist solvent, also known as acetone, to remove Kathy from the window. Welcome, Jake. This is part 3 of our live stream action videos here at the offices, South Australian office of the Australian Labor Party. We are here to mark 100 days of the Albanese Federal Labor Government. Fantastic. Donna has added a link about Labor sending a mixed message, which is so true. We have a commitment to 43% carbon reduction by the Labor government. I'm sorry, my big sigh, but I'm just so fed up of saying that. It is utterly ludicrous because they've also announced 10 new licenses for offshore exploration for oil and gas, which will just completely negate any sort of carbon reduction at home. And then we're exporting countless tons of coal to be burnt elsewhere.
You're a climate hero.
Kathy being unglued. On her hand is the message glued on for my granddaughter.
You're a good there, Kathy.
This is all part of Extinction South Australia's campaign, which we have named End Fossil Fuels Now, EFFN, and we have launched this campaign to coincide with 100 days of the Labor government, Federal Labor government, and highlighting the extremely mixed messages. The Environment Minister on the one hand acknowledges the damning, shameful report on extinction that is occurring in Australia, and at the same time is sort of approving destruction of other parts of the landscape. And fossil fuels now, 43% is a flawed floor.
I don't think she would.
Cathy has been alerted by the police that the staff force would be ungluing her, and then she will be arrested, I believe, for being a nuisance, and the nuisance being standing in front of the Australian Labor Party headquarters.
I might go across again. But feel free to.
Yeah, it's too high, so I can go back a bit. There we go, got that.
So you understand, Kathy, what happened is one year there.
Oh,
The police officer there, you're going to go.
trying to and a little bit of solvent mess down the window, but no damage. We certainly adhere to non-violent civil disobedience as our tactics to draw attention to the climate crisis and the fact that we need action ASAP. Happy Monday morning. Officers moving in to arrest Cathy. Police are going through the procedure of arrest. And her hand is not quite free. Slowly using the solvent so she can be disengaged from the glue. I think our staff force are getting quite expert at this now. So all the arrest technicalities being gone through. I know we're commenting on the fact that it has gone very, very quiet, but I pretty much guarantee that once Cathy is arrested and taken away, it'll get a bit noisy. It's supporting our brave, brave Cathy. It's been nearly an hour and a half that Cathy has been glued on. Thanks, Erica. I will pass that message on to Cathy. And Channel 9 waiting to get a bit of action.
Geez, Kathy, how much glue do you use?
Commenting on how the different glues vary in their adhesiveness. She's nearly off, according to Staff Force. Doing a grand job, always very gentle. No sudden moves. And the message on Kathy's hand says, "Glued on for my granddaughter."
Did you get the glued on for my granddaughter? Your granddaughter's proud of you.
Thanks, Brad. Spread the word.
Yeah,
We're here to raise the profile of the totally contradictory messages and actions of the government. Kathy is off. And as I said, here we go, Channel 9's trying to get her.
World is possible. Kathy is unstoppable. Another world is possible. Kathy is unstoppable.
There goes Kathy, brave Kathy.
Possible.
Up to the paddy wagon.
Another world is possible.
Going over the road.
Another world is possible. Kathy is unstoppable. Another world is possible.
I think her badges are being removed. She's got our lovely felt red hearts made by our lovely Nancy. That goes, and she's got a couple of other little button badges.
It's unstoppable. Kathy is unstoppable. Kathy is unstoppable. Kathy is unstoppable.
Support for Kathy from across the road.
Kathy is unstoppable. Kathy is unstoppable. Kathy is unstoppable.
Welcome, David. Hello, Sharon. Oh, hi, Sharon. Not seen you for a long time. It's Izzy here. The processes and procedures pre-putting Kathy into the paddy wagon. Hi. Kathy had €1 in her pocket. Plenitude of pockets. Seems excessive, but I suppose it's procedure.
Kathy is unstoppable. Another world is possible. 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 Kathy is unstoppable.
There she is.
Another world is possible.
Brave Kathy will be off to the watch house now, and there will be members of Extinction Rebellion will be following up behind Kathy, and she will have support at the watch house by our wonderful Extinction Rebellion members. And there she goes. Off Kathy. Well, there we go. For a Monday morning. Oops, car coming, better get off the road. So, So packing up and leaving our message on the pavement. So farewell from, thank you Momo. So we're leaving a little message on the pavement, just chalk, of course, no damage, and farewell from Kaurna country. End fossil fuels now. Keep watching the channel, we have much more planned.